like dragons? Yes. Do you like babies? No? Well, that's too bad, because I have an anime here for you that I think you might enjoy. Love-hate. Yep, that is the thing. Reincarnated as a Dragon Hatchling, chat. It's a bit like the time I got reincarnated into a slime, but in my opinion, a bit more adorable, if that makes any sense. Yeah, yes. Reincarnation, and what I also have started to see throughout this series a little bit is that they have no problem with throwing away characters, which I find very interesting. And it's a slow burn. Some animes, they are going about it way too fast, but this one feels like they have different seasons in their back pocket. Because I'm already on episode 6 or so, but there's still so much more to be done. I was actually pretty shocked by it. They don't seem like they're in a rush, but every episode there's something new happening, if that makes any sense. Maybe it's just there's just a lot to this story, chat. Let's take a look at this for a second, or a few seconds. A lot of seconds, actually. I'm gonna be talking about this for quite a while. Here we have our main character who is aware that he was reincarnated, which is very important, right? Granted, I've pretty much seen any Isekai where they're like, oh, this is not my world, but they acknowledge that, hey, is this a video game or is this an anime kind of thing? I like those type of acknowledgements, because so many times you have the main character not acknowledge that the world they got transported in is more like fiction, really. What's the point of Isekai? Whatever, chat. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. So we have the main character who starts out as an egg, instead of just a baby, but an egg. A little creature inside of an egg. It's almost like a Digimon, if I'm being honest, chat. If Digimon decided to create an anime, I feel like it would be a bit like this. At least in terms of like their art style, really, if I'm being honest, chat. It's like Digimon's cousin, not even Pokemon, but more just like Digimon's cousin that sometimes comes to the party, but not all the time. But when he does, he's like, you know, pretty cool and pretty chill. You wish you could see more of him, but you know, he's just not there. He's not there all the time. He's busy. That kind of cousin, chat. When I saw this, I was like, oh, he's going to break out of his egg, and that's how the anime is going to start. Like, no, the anime starts with him still inside the egg. And in fact, if the egg is damaged, he dies, which I find very interesting. That's a very interesting. It's like a baby being inside the womb, but it still has to fight like a mech because it has to control its mind. That I don't know where I heard that or seen that, but I think I heard it from somewhere where pregnant women are just mechs for their babies. Yeah, think about that for a second. Someone draw that. Oh gosh. Anyway, we see the main character having some very real problems about, you know, his HP and all that fun stuff, because he's just an egg, chat. But he still has to level up, and his first battle just so happens to be an egg eater. This reminds me of what, Holes? The movie Holes? Dune, there it is. That's what it, okay, that's what's been bugging me. I'm like, where's this? Do I recognize this monster from? Dune or any other Digimon worm thing? Yeah. After he defeats this worm, he's given the option to evolve, and that being a little dragon or a baby dragon. Yeah. The baby dragon having way far more branches of evolution, while the little dragon only so few, with the perks in here and there. Like, I honestly feel like this could be a game, or they're setting up for this to be a game, or it's already maybe a game, chat. How many games have you seen where it has this kind of concept? It's not new. It's just seeing this in an isekai it has me, chat. It has me by the throat. Yeah. One of the questions that don't get answered right off the bat, chat, one of my favorite words right off the bat, is that there's something guiding him. And I'm not even talking about the divine voice that's in his head, like the AI or the computer that's telling him something, right? This is something else. I'm not really sure who this is or what's the deal is, but it's telling him to get stronger and get stronger and get stronger. Here's the branches, chat, right here, right there. More branches over here, very short. So this is more long-term, you know, short-term growth. But he picks the long-term growth, and I actually like this one. It's adorable, chat. It's completely adorable. But it made me realize, I'm like, oh my goodness, this looks like a freaking Digimon. Digimon's a good game, chat. You should give it a try. So he gets a boost in stats and what have you, right? Able to not yet fly though, but use a few cool moves like Fire Punch and Bite. Or Nibble, actually. It's called Nibble. His bite move is just Nibble. Which I think is, this anime has me sold on its adorableness, if I'm being honest. Specifically of the main character. Everything else, not so much, but the dragon, I'm sold, chat. I'm sold. I feel like when it came to the I got reincarnated as a slime. I feel like that's what they were going for, adorableness. But the slime is adorable, but I don't know, not as adorable as a baby dragon. Yeah, and I know some of you, when I say baby dragon, you immediately think of Yu-Gi-Oh. Yeah, no, I'm not thinking of that kind of baby dragon, which, you know, is adorable, but not as adorable as whatever the heck this thing is. Look at that. I've never really been a big fan of chibi face, but this got a little bit of chibi face going on, but somehow they still managed to make it serious. Also, I think even though we see an adorable baby dragon, I think the humans in that world see it as like a scary monster. You ever seen Flapjack, chat, where you see a character that looks however, but when they do a zoom in, everything looks like horrendous? Yeah, that's pretty much what I think is going on here. Yeah, we can see it through their eyes, really. So he goes training, defeating a bunch of other egg eaters, monsters, worms, and all that fun stuff. And yes, he does eat them. And yes, they are terrible. Have you ever eaten a worm before, chat? Ugh, I don't even like to think about it. I've never eaten a worm, but I'm just saying it sounds terrible. Maybe worm jerky? Is that a thing? Anyway, he defeats a bunch of worms, levels up, and then he was like, you know what? I'm tired of eating worm meat. Ugh. I'm tired of eating worm meat. I'm gonna go for some wolf. Yeah. You ever had a wolf steak, chat? I bet it's gamey, if I'm being honest. I got worms and everything. Ugh. Deworm your dogs, chat. Anyway, he meets some humans, right, chat? Some humans who just adventuring around, you know, wizard, your sword guy, and then you have your this girl right here. She's the healer, and she's the kind of second main character, if I'm being honest. So our main character decides, if it's a smart idea, to present himself to the humans. So here's a problem. Dragons are normally killed on the spot. At least that's what the voice in his head told him. They're normally killed on the spot for their rare resources, especially his kind, right? But he made the move regardless. Only look at that. How you gonna attack something like that, chat? But that's exactly what happened. That's when it starts getting real. Yeah. The fact that they were able to make something adorable, but also make an anime that's adorable, but also add this level of violence makes me interested in seeing where this anime goes. It has me, chat. Like I said, by the throat. So he regrets it. It's like, oh, that was stupid. I don't want to die here. But the girl was like, no, we're not killing this thing. No, he's no threat. Really makes you think, chat. Like, for example, in any game that I'm playing, like, what was it? It was the Reanimal. There was a scene where there were some monsters they were eating. I could attack them, or I could just go right past. I attacked one, but I didn't know that it was just eating, so I felt bad. You don't need to attack everything, chat. Sometimes just letting it be is so much more uplifting. So she stops her party from attacking this baby dragon, and she goes off with her party to fight some rock dragon. And when the little baby dragon heals up, he manages to go out after them to try to help them out, because he can sense that something's very powerful in their direction. So he goes try to help, but he arrives too late, and they're kind of, you know, beat the crap, right? Oh yeah, he knows. That's the look on your face, like, no, man, this is not what I signed up for. He's strong, chat, but he's not overpowered. He can be very strong, but at the moment, he's still a baby dragon. In a lot of anime, you see the main character become just too overpowered too fast. But I don't get that with this. Like I said before, chat, it's a slow burn. He's strong, but there's so much more room to grow. And he even acknowledges, like, oh man, I leveled up, got to level 25, yada, yada, this, yada, that, but I'm still weak in comparison. And I think that's what makes it a great anime. He manages to save the girl, not the others, but he manages to save the girl and tries to take her back to her village. Of course, she's being chased by a bunch of wolves or people in furry outfits. I'm not really sure the difference, chat. Sometimes, chat, it's just hard to tell. That'd be freaking wild. They get attacked by wolves, but he manages to fight them off and all that fun stuff. When he gets to the village, he tries to draw everybody's attention. Now, another thing about this is that he can't understand their language. In fact, it sounds like gobbledygook, like from his eyes. We can understand it, of course, but as the viewer, but it sounds like gobbledygook through his eyes, through his ears, his Digimon ears. That's literally what those are Digimon ears if I've ever seen any. But he's still a dragon, even if he is a baby dragon. So the villagers are like, nah, you are attacking this little girl. How dare you? They stab him in the thigh. For a lot of reasons, chat. Well, not reasons. On a lot of levels, it really makes me think of how easy stuff like this could happen. Because in our right mind today, if you saw something like that and you saw something holding a girl, a dragon like that holding a girl on his back, you either A, think it was the cause, but I don't know, it's just seemed very weird on some level where you immediately think of the worst. The only way for something like that to make sense is that if this village was constantly being attacked by monsters through generations, it's been constantly attacked by monsters. But if I see a baby dragon holding somebody on their back like that, I'm gonna assume that that's not the case in this situation, because normally a monster would be holding something with its teeth, right? That makes way more sense. If something is intelligent enough to put it on their back, they probably understand the concept of someone being hurt, right? I don't know, chat. Normally with any other anime, I'm like, oh, why are they doing this? Those people are just stupid. But in this situation, it kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense. Where I get a lot of that, where it doesn't make any sense, is like that Avatar movie, you know what I'm saying? Where they're just doing stupid stuff because they're evil humans. Humans are evil and the natives are the good guys. But if you frame it that way, sure. You're telling me they're gonna come across the galaxy just to, whatever, I don't care. Beautiful movie, terrible writing. I think AI could have wrote it better. Or a toddler could have wrote it better. I don't know, chat. But more about this anime. He got stabbed in the leg, but he managed to heal. And then you get to meet the healer's teacher. She doesn't come off as a mature woman like Frieren, but you can kind of see where they were going with that. But Frieren didn't start this look, if I'm being honest, right? Have the elven folk always been young like this? Now that I think about it, I don't remember. Tell me in the comments, chat, because I honestly don't remember. But we get to see her teacher, this young looking elf woman. She says that's foolish of you to go out in the forest and all that nonsense, and telling her that it wasn't really her fault that her and her party got attacked by a dragon, a rock dragon. I keep wanting to say Onyx because it literally looks like that from Pokemon. It does, it really does. The real problem was the party leader's ego, because everyone kept telling him that you can't fight a rock dragon. He's like, yes, I can. Of course I can fight a rock dragon. I'm no coward. That ego got to be crazy powerful, chat, to get you killed like that. Man. But another interesting thing about that individual is that he's not dead, or he might not be. There's something weird going on with her former party leader, which kind of draws me into wanting to know more. A good anime holds out on a lot of information, but gives you just a little bit at a time, and I think that's makes it magical. Because if you feed too much information on how the world works in any anime or any show, really, you kind of ruin the mystery. Really, you gotta have mystery, chat. I love mystery. But with the few episodes that are already out for this one, which is about 7 episodes, I'm going to assume it's going to end around the 12th episode, but there's going to be a season 2. I want to put money on this. With how much of a slow burn this is, and not a boring slow burn, but a slow burn nonetheless, I think this anime is going to be a great one, if I'm being honest, chat. Oh yes. Oh yes. I'm not sure if it was a manga before it became an anime, but I wouldn't be surprised. Be careful, chat. There's got spoilers all over the place. Anyway, with this being an isekai anime, I easily put this a bit higher than a lot of the other isekais that you might have seen in the past. Oh yeah. I'm more excited about this particular isekai than I am with I Was Reincarnated into a Slime. Far more excited about it. I don't think it'll be as serious, but there's only been 7 episodes, so we don't know where they're going to go with it next. Anyway, chat, give it a try. Come back. Tell me what you think. All right. Love you. Bye-bye.